Tom Soderstrom, the CTO from NASA JPL, Jet Propulsion Laboratory, and he's going to be joining us via video conference here, and he's going to do a demo, and we'll let him take it from here.
Okay. Well, thank you very much. And can you hear? If you can hear me, okay, raise your hands. At least I know you're awake. Thank you. So I'm Tom Soderstrom, and I am the Chief Technology Officer at JPL. And what does a Chief Technology Officer do? A Chief Technology Officer, at least the way we define it, looks at the future. So what I try to do is to look at what is going to be relevant to us at the Jet Propulsion Laboratory in the future and try to taste test it now. And that's really the key, is to try it out to see how it fits, how it works, if it's relevant at all. So we look at industry trends, and we're going to talk, of course, today about augmented reality. But before I do, let me talk a little bit about what JPL does, because augmented reality is really from growing in the consumer space and more in an enterprise. So how does that fit, or does it? And we believe that it is starting to fit, but it'll fit tremendously in the future, and that's where you all will come in and help us define the future. So at JPL, we do big things. We explore space. We look for the beginnings of the universe. We look for life in the rest of the universe, that life-like planets, etc. And you will have, if you're interested in space at all, you'll hear some press releases about some on Friday about some things we've discovered on Mars. We have already, for instance, discovered that there was there were conditions for life on Mars like on Earth. There were flowing water. There was sustained flowing water. We found the trace molecules of life, like oxygen, phosphorus, etc. We also have discovered that it was close about the time when Earth discovered life, or Earth evolved life. So there's a lot of parallels. So these are big projects, $1 billion worth. How do we deal with that in the consumer space? So what we're finding, and we look at the industry trends, is there are some industry trends that are tremendously valuable to us. One of them is consumer-driven IT. The people who put the rovers on Mars are IT consumers, just like you. With a show of hand, who's using an iPhone today? From what I can see, it looks like a lot of you. How about Android? Looks like the rest of you. How about BlackBerry? I don't see any hands raised. So it evolves. The point is, it evolves. So consumer-driven IT is one. Mobile technology, obviously, you're all using it all the time, is one. The fact that gaming, we're trying to take advantage of gaming in the enterprise to do things quicker is one. So the biggest one of all is human behavior. How do we act with IT? And that's where augmented reality comes in. Today, we're going to show you a demo of augmented reality the way we saw it. And we can argue for hours over a beer, which I wish I could do were I with you. Is it a gimmick or is it real? Well, is there really a difference? That's the point I would like to ask you. Today, it is a gimmick. However, it reaches millions of people the way they want to be reached. And I'll show you what it is in a minute. It also educates tremendously. And then we're going to show this, and as we do it, we will talk about the future. And the future is where we need you all. You're at the Augmented Reality Conference, and we think that is the future. And it's much more than a gimmick. So let me start by showing on an iPad. I could use an Android or I could use an iPhone. And let me show you what this augmented reality looks like. Now, it is a challenge because I'm here in LA and you're in San Jose due to something called sequestration. We're severely limited to the travel we can do. So we have to figure out how to do things from remote. It's not the same, it's not as good of an experience, but perhaps it's good enough. So let's find out. So what I have here is I have a business card. And it looks like it has Spacecraft 3D, which is the app we're going to show you. It has the target on the back. And this target is actually sand from an Oregon sand dune taken by Curiosity's camera. Anybody know what Curiosity is? When I say Curiosity, raise your hand if you do. Okay, a few do. Thank you. Actually, most of you do. So Curiosity is on Mars. And what I wanted to show you now is I want to show you. Now I put the part on a piece of paper, and hopefully you will see this. Raise your hand when you can see it on the screen. Okay. Give me a second. Technology difficulty here. Give me just a second. It has to reacquire Wi-Fi from my room. So I'm going to switch in midstream. And switch to my iPhone, because for some reason my Wi-Fi died. And if you could tell me when you can see this screen. Do you see a screen that says Spacecraft 3D? Okay, great, thank you. So this app is Spacecraft 3D. So I'm going to select a spacecraft. And so what I do, and you can all download this if you have an Android or an iPhone or any iOS device. So I'm going to select Curiosity. But if you notice here, we have 16 spacecraft. So for us, it's an education and an outreach. And actually, let me start with another spacecraft. I'll start with the granddaddy of all of them. Has anybody heard of Voyager? Raise your hand if you've heard of Voyager. Good. So Voyager right now is, it is 18 billion kilometers, about 15 billion miles away. And it is going out of our solar system. And can you see it on the screen now? Raise your hand if you can. I'm going to give you, those hands are going to get exercise. So what we can do here is you can actually see something nobody has seen. You can see Voyager upside down. And now I'll go closer, and you can see what it looks like close up once it refreshes on the screen. And then if you wanted to find out information about Voyager, you could just click on the I button and find out when it launched, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to go back again and pick another spacecraft. Let's pick Aquarius. Because these we do two things. We go out into the solar system and beyond, but we also look at Earth. This is a spacecraft called Aquarius. It is looking at all of our oceans to figure out what the salinity content is. So I'm going to flip that. You can see what it looks like underneath, what the instruments look like, and all that. Now, I'm going to go back, and we're going to pick Curiosity. So now what we're looking at is, when it's refreshing there, is Curiosity. And I'm going to take it in my hand and hold Curiosity so you can see it closer. And if you notice, Curiosity has no solar panels. So that's, for kids, it's especially, it's interesting because there's very weak sunlight on Mars. However, Mars exploration rovers had solar panels. So how does it do it? Well, let me zoom in. This here is the nuclear power. It has weak nuclear power. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn it. So what I'm doing now is I'm interacting with the rover, and I'm going to have it spin. I'll have it spin, and now I'll raise the arm. And I don't know how well this is coming across. Now lower the arm. Now I'm going to raise the mast, and I'm going to zoom in on the mast. And what it has cameras, so we can get very high definition pictures. I'm going to show you one more thing, and then we're going to do something interesting, something that's never been done before. Now zooming in on the arm, and I'm looking for something specific here. What it has, what I was going to show you, it has a laser on it. So on Mars, what we do is we zap the rock to see if the rock is worthy. So it zaps the rock, then Curiosity sniffs it to see, is it worthy of drilling? Why do we do that? Because the drill is the thing that will wear out first. So at this point, what I've been showing you is augmented reality over video conferencing, and it is outreach. If you want to find out more about Curiosity, when you download your own Spacecraft 3D, you can. So you can find out all about it in this little history app. So what are we doing? We're reaching people the way they want to be reached using the mobile apps, but we're augmenting the reality, that marker. If you notice, the marker can be many things. We started with Curiosity, one spacecraft. Within 6 months, we had 16 spacecraft. So it becomes almost like a living museum. Now, that's for outreach. We can interact with it. Now, where can it go in the future? What if you could interact with it? I'm going to come back here to the rover. What if you could do engineering with it? So now this is where you all come in. This is where we will. It's great for outreach. We'll continue that. But what we want to be able to do, and we've tested it and it works, but we're very in the infancy, we want to be able to engineer what the spacecraft should look like, then look at it through augmented reality to see how the actual compares to what we expected. We want to be able to click on, I'll zoom in on the wheel here. We want to be able to click on the wheel and have it reach into the suppliers, see what's inside the wheel, and that all would pop up in an augmented reality screen. It would dive in through the databases to pull out the error reports, the failure rates, reorder new parts, do all that. So now we're in the world of big data. We want to be able to raise the mast and do a 3D print of this configuration. So now we're tying into 3D printing. In order to be able to do that, you have to interact with it. You have to be able to send this configuration model to a 3D printed printer and model that can do that. It's all at the tip of our fingertips, but we can't do it yet. We want to be able to do maintenance. We have our clean rooms, so the engineers will put the spacecraft together and they have little clean suits so that we don't contaminate with bacteria the spacecraft. But we want to be able to, while they're on the floor doing that, be able to see what's inside, to interact with it. That is augmented reality. So now let's do something that's never been done before. Let's see if we can do this from remote. So this is going to be a little tricky. What I'm going to do is to have this target, the card, 500 miles away where you are, which means it could be 5,000 miles away. So if I could get a volunteer to come up and hold the target in front of the camera, that would be terrific. And see, now we're going to be limited to the resolution of the camera. Let's see if this works. A little closer. This worked a few minutes ago. There. Okay, so now it acquired it. So now if you move back a little bit, please. Okay. Now what you'll see on the screen, even a little more, you'll see the rover. Okay, that's perfect. Let's hold it there for a second. And now I'm going to flip it. So at this point, what we're doing is we're interacting with a target that's remote. Now imagine that there were 10 of us dialing into this video conference, and each of us has a different app looking at the same card. What could you do then? How could you collaborate? Could you perhaps have it displayed, all the instructions displayed in your own language with your own app from the same card? We do a lot of interaction with different countries, suppliers. Could you perhaps have an adult version and a non-adult version and from the same card, et cetera, et cetera. It changes everything. It changes the way we think and work, and it's all from a print card that could be easily mailed. The way we brainstorm is different. We could now have just have the cards, and then when you take it back to the office, you can see the 3D model and choose the one you liked. Now, let's really go wild. What if you could, thank you very much. So now we're going to try the last piece here that's even more challenging. We're going to see if we can start implementing wearable computing. So Gilda has offered to, she has, it's only one of these shirts. If you step to the left a little bit, yep, and come real close. Okay, we have to turn the camera down a little bit. Okay, come closer. This will work, by the way, while I'm waiting for this to try to acquire. This will work in the audience. If you have, there it goes, it has now acquired. So if you step back a little bit, Gilda, and now you should be able to see this on the screen. Can you see it yet on the screen? Okay, so now I'm going to turn it. So now it's facing the other way, and I'm going to turn it. I'm going to turn it again. Now I'm going to lower the arm. So can you step back even more, Gilda? Okay. So at this point, that's perfect. And now then, I will turn it one final time. And turn it back. Thank you very much, Gilda. And if everybody could give Gilda a huge hand of for this, I appreciate it. So feel free to try, download Augmented Reality, Spacecraft 3D, and give it a try. You can print the marker, you can email the marker, but the real plea here is this is the future. And we're enterprise IT, so what we do is we try to implement all of these technologies. We need new skills for this. We need mobile development skills. We need real-time graphic skills. Who has those skills? Gamers. So is there life for gaming skills inside the large enterprise like NASA? Absolutely. And this is where we need to go. So we're just getting started, but from my vantage point, this is moving at breakneck speed. And what I'm hoping you're seeing at this conference is lots and lots of new opportunities and new technologies that can help us. So if somebody from enterprise like us tell you that these are just gimmicks and games, tell them to go pound sand. This is much more than gimmicks. It is the future. So thank you very much for listening. And are there any how are we going to do Q&A? We're going to do that now or afterwards?
Does anybody have any questions
for Tom? Questions?
Yes.
Hi. So what are your methods for tapping into the ecosystem of developers around the world to support innovation in your space, so to speak?
Okay. Would somebody close to the computer repeat the question, please?
You have to say your question right into here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Tom can hear you.
She was asking about your outreach to developers.
Good. Excellent question. So what we do is we believe that, firmly believe, we've been doing this for 3 years, that IT does not mean information technology anymore. It means innovating together. So innovating together is innovating together with other business units, but also with developers. So what we do, for instance, hopefully you have all, or if you haven't yet, next year you will, participate in the International Space App Challenge. NASA is that's a NASA International Space App Challenge all around the world, all 7 continents at the same time. And we even tried to get the space station involved, but that didn't work. We're doing lots of hackathons all over the place. There's something called Open NASA. If you Google that, there's lots of opportunities. We're trying to get ideation, get ideas from the developers, but we're starting with the hackathons because technology is changing so quickly now that we want to be able to take advantage of that and bring that into the enterprise. Excellent question. Thank you for that.
Anyone else?
Any other questions?
No other questions for Tom here? All right.
So
well, thank you so much.
Thank you very much for listening and trying to hang with us on this challenging remote presentation. Hopefully next year we'll be able to be there in person and see all the great things you guys are doing. But keep it up. This is truly our future. So thank you very much.